speaking lifestyle. And today we're going to talk about how do you grab people's attention by the balls? How do you do that, right? So we're going to see who's hopping on. And today it's all about grabbing people's attention. I noticed that I don't really talk too much about presentation skills, just public speaking skills in general, but that's going to change. So we're going to start out today. Today's going to be about grabbing people's attention. Tomorrow's going to be about keeping people's attention. And the next day is going to be about converting people's attention. You have to master the ability to grab, keep, and convert attention if you want to generate a ton of sales in any business that you're in. Anything that you do is all about presentation skills. I mean, when you step in front of a camera, you're creating a podcast, you're creating video. I mean, you do a speech, whatever it is, always about presentation skills. And if you can get really good at it, then the sales will just happen easily. So let's see who's hopping on. If this thing will load, it's not even loading, so I don't see all the billions and billions and trillions of people hopping on this Facebook Live. That's probably why it's not loading. There's so many people hopping on right now that it's just freezing up the thing. Let's see. Maybe I'll just go on the computer instead of this. We'll see who's hopping on real quick. But like I said, today it's all about how do you actually grab people's attention. Tomorrow's going to be about how do you keep people's attention. And then the next day is going to be about how do you convert that attention. And so if you can actually grab people's attention, this is probably the easiest, actually not probably, it is the easiest of the three. Grabbing someone's attention is just really easy to do. It's just natural human nature that you simply just hijack and you just take advantage of. But when you master the ability to grab, keep, and convert attention, you will make more sales in everything you do. If you're trying to build up your podcast, if you're trying to build up your personal brand, you're selling the online product, well, how do you sell? You grab attention and you convert that attention. If you're doing a speech on a stage, well, if you don't freaking grab and keep people's attention, they'll sit there and look on their phones and they'll nod away. They'll tell the meeting planner you freaking suck. They'll never invite you back again. So you have to really master the ability to grab attention. I'm not just talking about literally just presenting in a video or presenting on a stage. I mean in general. When you send out an email, can you capture people's attention so they read the email? When you create a thumbnail for your YouTube videos or any type of video, when you create a thumbnail, does it grab people's attention? So little things like that are things that you really have to pay attention to when it comes to just grabbing people's attention. And this thing is not working for some reason. This is not grabbing my attention. All right, so let's see. There we go. I think it's popping up now. So now it finally grabbed my attention. There we go. So what's up, Kathy? What's up, Nick? What's up, Sign? I think. All right, cool. The heavy hitter has arrived. What's up, Assad? All right, Assad loving the program. Nice. Paul, what's up, Alex? All right, so let's just get going in terms of actually grabbing attention, right? So the reason why I never really talk about public speaking skills in general is just because it is actually hard to break down presentation skills. It's one of those things where it's just naturally hard to break it down into little chunks, but you have to master the ability to grab, keep, and convert attention on a consistent basis just because you will make more money when you do that. When people say something doesn't work, it's really just because they're not doing it the right way. The thing works, they're just not doing it the right way. The same goes with actually grabbing and keeping and converting attention. So if you're not generating sales, it's because you probably don't have people's attention. All right, so you got to think of attention as just, it's putting a spotlight on a message. That's all it's doing. So imagine a spotlight. You step on a stage, there's a spotlight somewhere on the stage. All it does, it just focuses on something. It just focuses on a message. And so your message is a thing that's going to convert the attention, but the spotlight is a thing that actually grabs the attention and it shows people like, hey, pay attention to this thing here. So that's all it does. If you put attention on something that sucks, an online program, a coach, a speech, any type of product, and it sucks, then all you're going to do is just make the downfall faster. That's all that's going to happen. And so that's all attention really does. And so literally just think of it as you put a spotlight on a singer. Now, is a singer good or not? So like American Idol, right? When American Idol started, it's like there's all these singers that come in, people are singing or they're about to sing. They have the attention. They have the audience, the millions of people watching on TV. Then when they sing, what happens then? And so that's all it comes down to in terms of attention. It's just a matter of, all right, you're here, the spotlight's on you. Are you good? Do you suck or what? And so whether or not you're good or not, that's technically up to you. That depends on how much you actually practice. So you got to think in terms of you have the attention, but so what, right? So what? You have attention, so what? And we're going to talk about more of that tomorrow and Friday. But think in terms of you have the attention, so what? So I was in the Facebook group, in someone else's Facebook group, and some guy built up a list, right? I think it was about $300. He got 200 emails. So he was just now building up an email list to really like start his personal brand. And he was like, all right, I've got 200 emails, but nobody's bought, like nobody bought anything. How do I get people to buy? Right. So he grabbed their attention initially by getting them to sign up, but he couldn't convert that attention. And you have to always think along the lines of, not only how do I grab attention, not only how do I keep the attention, but how do I convert the attention? Because converting the attention it's the only thing that freaking matters. And so when you put a spotlight on something, do people agree with it or not? If they agree with it, they'll buy. If they don't, there may be some consequences. So it's like Elon Musk, right? So Elon Musk, he was on Joe Rogan's podcast and he was smoking weed, right? And so he had the attention. I mean, Elon Musk, he always has the attention, but he had the attention. He was smoking weed. So that was something that naturally grabbed people's attention. Like, wow, the CEO of several companies, dude who started PayPal, freaking in the news all the time. This dude smoking weed. What? So he grabbed people's attention, but he grabbed the wrong attention as well. So NASA actually said, like, this is actually a quote, from one of the admins from NASA. He said, he won't be smoking weed again. That's literally what they said. And it's probably because NASA probably said that because they knew if he did, they're going to cancel his contract or something. So you can put attention on something, and if people don't agree with the message or the thing that you're putting attention on, if people don't agree with that, there will be consequences. It can be something as simple as like what NASA said to Elon Musk, like, hey, don't smoke or we're going to cancel your contract. It can be something like that, or it can be something crazy where people end up, I don't know, people talk about you or whatever, right? So that's all attention is, just a spotlight. But you got to think in terms of whose attention do you need and why. When this is the problem with a lot of people on social media, on Instagram especially, people just want the attention. It's like attention for what? You shouldn't be going after likes and follows and all that. You should be very strategic. Whose attention do you need and why do you need their attention? And remember, you never want to lose sight of your end goal. The end goal when you're building your business is to generate revenue. That's the purpose of a business, generate revenue. And so you have to think, all right, my end goal is to, let's say, sell this online program. I'm getting attention to sell the online program. That's my purpose. So I do not care about likes, don't care about how many followers I get. I don't care if people watch my videos or not. Am I generating sales? That's the only thing you're thinking about in terms of who you're grabbing attention from and why. So that's what you're thinking about. If you're becoming an influencer, then it's a matter of who's the audience and you're thinking about all that influencer stuff. I don't care about the influencer stuff. I'm just waiting on the day that influencers are it's just going to come crashing down, right? It's going to happen. Trust me on that one. But you got to think in terms of, you don't want to lose sight of your end goal. The end goal is what allows you to grow when you're actually building attention. Then you're asking, like, whose attention do you need? So this is where you're paying attention to your audience, right? So you're thinking, I'm a fitness trainer. I need the attention of women who want to lose weight, or I need the attention of men who want to get more ripped or something, right? So you're simply thinking about whose attention do you need? All of this, you need to think about this before you actually start grabbing attention. If you're grabbing attention to grab attention, you end up doing dumb stuff that you see on Instagram and all these just all these freaking social media profiles. People just do dumb stuff, freaking playing football in the snow in their boxers or naked and just doing that just to do it, just to grab attention. And there's no reasoning behind it. There's no purpose to it. It's similar to what I talked about with the difference between Martin Luther King and Occupy Wall Street. Martin Luther King, he had a purpose behind what he was doing. He was like, okay, I'm going to grab attention to do this. Whereas Occupy Wall Street was like, I'm going to grab attention. And that was it. It had to be the most useless protest I've ever seen ever in my life, Occupy Wall Street. They didn't know what they were doing with the attention. So you have to keep thinking about whose attention do you want and why do you want it? If you don't know, don't try to grab attention. There's no reason for it. It's why I keep telling people, if you're creating content and you don't know who you're creating content for or what you're going to end up selling, then you're kind of wasting your time at that point, because everything depends on whose attention do you want and why do you want that attention. At this moment, you're asking yourself, once you know who and why, now you ask where. Where is the attention? Where exactly do they pay attention to? Are they listening to podcasts? Like, do they drive and they listen to podcasts all the time? Are they watching YouTube videos, for example, or reading emails? Like, I know Mark Cuban, he absolutely hates meetings, pretty much never goes into a meeting. Actually, I think that is his rule. He never accepts a meeting unless he's actually getting money. Like, unless someone's literally writing a check at the meeting, he doesn't actually go to a meeting. And so he says, no, just send me emails. So the way you grab his attention is through texting and emailing. So you grab his attention that way. Some people, you grab them through the podcast or through YouTube. So you simply got to think in terms of, where is that attention? This is one of the reasons why when I was trying to get hired just as an entertainer, first thing I thought about was, how do they hire entertainers? And it's the same thing for speakers. The process was the exact same. How do they get hired? And I thought about it. I said, okay, first they think, who do I know? Then they go, who do you know? And then they do an internet search, right? A Google search. So I said, okay, if I can actually get to them at the moment where they think, who do I know? Do I know of any entertainment? Do I know of any motivational speakers? Like, if I can get to them at that moment, then I'll get hired faster than everybody else. And because I knew that, I knew where the attention was, I simply started reaching out to them to grab their attention through the outreach campaigns, and that's how I got to them that way. When you know where your people are, you know what to do to grab their attention. You know where you should be. And so if I know that the meeting planners are hiring speakers and entertainers, I can do just outreach just to get hired by them. If I know that's how they look for them, then I'm not going to create a Facebook ad that says, hey, would you like to bring in a motivational speaker for your event? Because I know that's not where they go looking for motivational speakers. And so you have to think in terms of whose attention, why do you need that attention, and where is that attention? After that, you can start using all these tactics and techniques to actually grab attention. But those are the first things that you do. The tactics and techniques are as simple as spending money on ads where you're creating visibility, and then little things like understanding human nature in general, right? So there's this German term called, let me see if I can pronounce it, Schadenfreude. Schadenfreude. I screwed that all up. I don't know how you say it. It's like Schadenfreude. Basically, it's where you get pleasure from someone else's misfortune. You might be saying to yourself, I don't really get pleasure from someone else's misfortune. Yeah, right. Come on now, let's be honest. Everybody gets pleasure to some extent from someone else's misfortune. When you watch one of those America's Funniest Videos or something like that, you see someone trip, you laugh. You're like, ha, 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 that's hilarious, right? If you tripped, it wouldn't be that funny to you at that time. You'd be like, oh, damn it, stop laughing at me. You're no longer my friend. And so it wouldn't be that funny to you if you're the one who tripped. But this Schadenfreude, however you say that, this thing, it's like when you understand that, it's why bad news works. So people tend to say, oh, all the news is so negative, and I don't really want to watch all the news because it's too negative. The reason why the news is negative is because that's what people watch. If people watch more positive stuff, they would post more positive stuff. But people don't watch that because of Schadenfreude, whatever that is, right? And so basically, the more perfect you are, the more people tend to root for your downfall. Secretly, by the way, they don't root publicly. They're not like, oh yeah, I hope he goes from billionaire to broke. They're not doing that publicly. But when they see it, they're like, yeah, see, I knew all rich people weren't legit. All rich people are freaking a-holes, right? So that's what people do privately. Knowing this, you take advantage of it. Take complete, utter advantage of it in everything you do when you're freaking creating your video headlines, your emails, your podcast headlines. Take advantage of it 100%. That the fact that people want to see you fail. So you do little things like this, right? You put in a headline, is, insert your name, a scam artist, right? So you'll put, is Benji Bruce a scam artist? And then all of a sudden you have a video where it's like, Benji Bruce is the greatest in the world, right? And then you do the exact opposite or something, right? Or for example, don't buy, insert your product, before you watch this. So don't buy the Speak Pro Academy before you watch this. And so that's naturally going to capture people's attention. They're going to think, what? Don't buy the thing. All right, let me watch this thing first. What are they saying about this thing? Does it suck or something? Why would they tell me to not buy the thing? So little things like that. Or If you include in your email, my life is ruined. Let's say that's the subject line. My life is ruined, or I cried today. So first thing people see in an email, I cried today. Naturally, they're going to be like, oh, really? What? Huh? And then all of a sudden you can go in and make it make sense or something like, I cried tears of joy, or I cried because I couldn't get myself to do the work and I couldn't figure out. And so whatever it is, right? But you get the point. Basically, you take advantage of the Schadenfreude. You take advantage of the fact that people get pleasure out of your downfall. The fact that people get pleasure out of someone else's misfortune. Take 100% advantage of it by taking these negative headlines, putting them into your content in every single possible way. I guarantee you're going to get more click-through rates and everything with those negative headlines. But you want to make sure you don't overdo it, because there's long-term attention and short-term attention. Short-term attention is they read one video, they read one email, watch one video. They just read a couple things, watch a couple things. Long-term attention is, what do they see from you in 6 months or in a year or in 2 years, right? So if you keep posting videos and emails, and you keep sending emails with negative stuff like, is so-and-so a scam artist, or don't buy a so-and-so product before you watch this. If you keep doing that, at first it's going to work. But then people are going to realize, like when you say, don't buy Speak Pro Academy until you watch this, people are going to realize you're not making a negative comment about it because you never did. Instead, it's more like kind of clickbait-ish in a way. And so they'll naturally stop paying attention. It'll lose its effectiveness. But you want to take advantage of that as much as possible and just sprinkle it, just a little sprinkle here and there. Just take advantage of people's Schadenfreude, right? So that's the first thing in terms of grabbing people's attention. The other thing are secrets. Secrets really, really grab people's attention. It's one of the reasons why everybody gossips. People gossip, and obviously some people gossip way more than others, but everybody gossips to an extent. And you want to once again take complete advantage of this, the fact that everybody loves secrets. Everybody loves gossip to some extent. Even people who say they don't, they're like, oh yeah, I don't gossip. And then all of a sudden, did you hear about someone? They're secretly listening, right? So everybody gossips, because gossip, it gives you kind of like a leg up on the person that people are gossiping about. You have information about this person that they don't know you know. And so it kind of gives you a leg up on this person. You kind of feel superior in a way because you know more about this person, right? And that's why people gossip. It's one of the reasons why people love secrets. And so all you have to do when it comes to secrets is you can either use this in a headline literally, or you can have an actual secret that you literally let out on purpose, and people will naturally start talking about that secret in secret, right? So they'll talk about your secret in secret, slowly but surely building up your name, and people will slowly but surely go and check you out. That's what happens all the freaking time. It's one of the reasons why you have guys like P.T. Barnum. I mean, obviously not still alive, but P.T. Barnum did not care if you talked good about his show or bad about his show, because he knew that as long as you talked about him, people would come to him. Same with Houdini. Houdini did the same thing. Didn't care if it was good or bad, but he was like, I don't care if it's good or bad, just spell my name right. And so it's the same thing in terms of secrets. When your secret gets out, people will be talking about you, doing the gossip. It is spread, and then it'll naturally attract the people that you want to attract. It'll repel the people you want to repel. All this will happen in silence. People won't even know it's happening. It'll just happen in silence. One person talk to another, and so and so. And little do you know, they're naturally checking you out, whether it's your social media page, whether it's your website or whatever. They're naturally checking you out. And so when you have these secrets, like a secret headline is insert someone's name, dirty little secret for how he insert the end result they want, right? So you could say Tony Robbins' dirty little secret for how he gets 10,000 people to his events, right? So something like that, his dirty little secret about this. Or you can offer to reveal a secret where you don't even mention the word secret. So something like this. You say, oh, whoa, Bill Gates never mentioned this when he was building Microsoft. So that can be another headline. Or something like, oh, Steve Jobs didn't want this to get out about his personal phone. So little things like that. Oh, Steve Jobs didn't want this to get out about the Mac computers. Little things like that where you say you're going to reveal some sort of secret, especially someone else's secret, right? You're like, oh, I'm going to reveal this person's secret. So when you think in terms of secrets, it's one of the things that people naturally want to talk about because it makes them feel superior to some extent. So once again, take advantage of it. 100% take advantage of every aspect that you can when you're grabbing people's attention. You have to think along the lines of the more normal you are, the harder it is to grab people's attention. So normal equals no attention. That's how you have to think. It's one of the reasons why I tell people when you are presenting on camera or on a stage or anywhere, if you are literally the same person when you're on a stage or on camera as you are when you're just around a single friend, then you're going to have a really, really hard time keeping people's attention. You'll grab the attention at first, but if you're the same throughout, people won't pay attention. And the reason is because the context is different. Actually, we'll talk about that tomorrow, right? But just understand that when you grab people's attention, the more normal you are, the harder it is to grab people's attention. Think real life equals boring. This is why when you see people on a video and they get all professional like, right? So they go on a video, they're like, hi, today we are going to talk about grabbing attention. Tomorrow we will talk about keeping attention. And then the next day, we will talk about converting the attention. Attention is extremely important. When you see that, people are like, oh, this is freaking stupid, right? Because they're trying to be professional and they're coming across as normal. And then people naturally think that is the most boring crap ever. I mean, well, they don't think it. They just get bored. And so you have to think the more normal you are, the more boring it's going to be for your audience. And this is where you think along the lines of the personality. This is why you hear TV personality, right? TV personality. It means that you have a personality when you present. That personality captures, keeps, and converts the attention. So you just want to think along the lines of how are you around friends, then exaggerate that on camera, right? It's one of the reasons why I keep being so sarcastic, because I'm sarcastic around friends, and then I just do the same thing on camera. I actually tone it down for the camera because it's way worse around friends. I mean, oh my goodness, my friends would tell you I'm on a whole new level of like insane stuff that I say to them, right? But you just got to think in terms of how are you when you're around friends? Do the same on camera, just a little bit more, just exaggerate it a little bit more. That's what you're trying to express on camera. That's how you develop your TV personality. And this is why, like, in terms of normal, not grabbing attention, it's one of the reasons why you see celebrities do ridiculous things. Celebrities, they literally do things for the paparazzi because they know the paparazzi is going to snap a picture of it. It reminds me of, actually, let me see if I can just show you guys the picture here. Let's see, Diddy and, how do I spell that guy's name? Farnsworth. Let me show you guys this picture real quick before I tell you the story behind it. Let's see. All right, here we go. So it is this picture right here, right? So this picture, you see Diddy's right here. Let's move in. So Diddy's right here. This is Farnsworth, right? Farnsworth Bentley. And so he's also a celebrity. And notice how he's carrying around this umbrella for Diddy. Diddy is like, carry around my umbrella, right? And so the paparazzi, they naturally snapped this picture. That picture was actually a joke by Diddy and Farnsworth. Like Farnsworth actually said, like, hey, let's act like I'm your servant and I'm going to walk around with this umbrella, right? And they knew that the paparazzi was going to take pictures of it because they're like, oh, snaps, this celebrity is walking around with this celebrity holding a friggin' umbrella. And so they do ridiculous things like that on purpose to grab attention. The sex tapes, all that sort of stuff, it's usually done on purpose with the exception of Hulk Hogan. But most of it is actually done on purpose because they know that people are gonna snap pictures. And so grabbing attention, like I said, it's really easy to grab attention. Something as simple as energy grabs attention. When you step in front of a camera or a podcast or on a stage and you're like, yeah! Well, first people will be like, what's wrong with this dude? But then, I mean, naturally you'll grab their attention, right? So energy will grab attention because it's one of those things where in everyday life, we can't just walk around just like, what's up, everybody? What's cracking? We can't do that sort of stuff in everyday life. And so when it happens on camera, it's different. Remember, different. It's not normal, so it's different and naturally grabs attention. Look at The Rock or Dwayne Johnson. Look at him when he was The Rock in wrestling. The dude, he was considered the most electrifying man in wrestling for a reason, because of all that energy that he had with everything he did. Little things like, he's like, what's your name? They're about to say their name. Oh, my name is, it doesn't matter what your name is. And he just like went off on him, right? That was all energy coming from him. And that's why it grabbed people's attention. So your energy can grab people's attention. You don't need high energy. It can even be low energy if you want. I call it the wisdom energy. So the wisdom energy is the guy when he steps on a stage, someone like Bruce Lee or something, right? He steps in front of people and then all of a sudden he's like, be like water, my friend. Water. And so it's like, it's a low energy, but once again, it's different. It's a wise energy. And so once again, that naturally grabs people's attention. Language grabs people's attention. Language is one of the things where you want to study copywriting, because copywriting will help you become a master at language. So language grabs people's attention while creating curiosity at the same time. So let's say I'm a fitness trainer. I'm coming out with a program, and the program is about the glutes workout, right? So it's glutes, right? So I can call it the glutes workout, or I can say the booty buster program, right? The booty buster program sounds better than the glutes workout. It just sounds a million times better. Or thinking in terms of saying things like stay focused versus go into beast mode. Language terms like that, it grabs people's attention. I can easily say, look, man, you got to stay focused. Or I can say, look, man, you got to go into beast mode. When I say beast mode, it makes you feel different. That language is a little bit different. And so you got to pay attention to language. Pay attention to language that stirs up emotions. This is why when you are presenting in a podcast, a video, on a stage, and you're using certain language, it's best to use language that naturally comes out through your emotions. And from there, you can actually really tone it down or think about what it is you're really saying later on. But in the beginning, you're thinking more about the emotions. Like it's the difference between saying something like, be aware of the competition versus we're going to crush the competition, right? So little things like that. Just be aware of the competition versus crush anybody who stands in your way. When you hear be aware of the competition, it's more cerebral. It's like, okay, yeah, all right, be aware of the competition. But when you hear crush anybody who gets in your way, it's more emotional. You're like, oh yeah, all right, I'm gonna crush these mofos, get in my way, competition my ass. And so it's like, you pay attention to how the language makes you feel, and that will naturally convey to other people. They'll naturally see it. And so that's why you want to pay attention to language as well. Think in terms of how do you make the language visual. It's one of the reasons why stay focused versus beast mode is a lot better. Stay focused, it's like, okay, there's nothing that really pops up inside of their head. Beast mode, though, they're like, "Rah." And so you kind of go into beast mode. That's what people think. Just think in terms of how does the language make you feel. And then, of course, taboo. This is one of the things where it's similar to secrets, but taboo, it's one of the things that people don't like to talk about in public around people. If you talk about the taboo, people will pay attention to you. Oh man, I just rhymed right there. Man, I'm going to be an MC one of these days. But you want to think along the lines of taboo. Taboo is one of those things where, like depression among entrepreneurs, right? Or just depression in general. I mean, nowadays people are talking more about depression, but back in the days, nobody talked about depression despite a lot of people being depressed. Or for example, anxiety. There's this guy, Charlemagne the God. That's what he calls himself. He's this DJ, right? And so he wrote 2 books, and his second book is about anxiety. He has like a lot of anxiety and all this stuff. So he's like a celebrity DJ, and he has all this anxiety, and he wrote a book about it. And the book has like, I don't know how many reviews, hundreds of reviews, and it's like 4.9 out of 5 star reviews, right? And I thought like, dang, how's this dude like getting so many reviews, and how are people saying this is such a great book? So I bought it. I'm like, I got to see, even though I wasn't really interested in it, I just have to see what other people see in it. And I now see what people see in it. What people see is the fact that he's talking about a taboo subject, the subject of this insanely successful guy with a lot of anxiety, a lot of self-doubt, all the sort of stuff that's going on. He's talking about all this taboo type stuff, which is why people pay attention to it, because secretly people struggle in silence, right? So there's a lot of people out there who are depressed. They struggle in silence. A lot of people with anxiety struggle in silence, self-doubt struggle in silence. There's a lot of people who struggle in silence. And so when you talk about taboo subjects, they think, oh, wow, me too, right? And so this is, sex, freaking anxiety, like psychological health, all these stuff. It's all taboo type of subjects. It's one of the reasons why I actually put down here Tai Lopez. Like when you see Tai Lopez, he has all the women in his videos and stuff. It's because of the sex, right? He's using sex to sell. Now that's obvious. Anyone who watches it, it's obvious. And that's not even taboo in terms of what he's really doing. But if you want to go really taboo, that's when you start talking about like some details with sex. And so you just got to think along the lines of, if you're talking taboo or not even talking about it, just somewhat demonstrating it, people will naturally pay attention. You'll naturally grab their attention. And you also want to think in terms of, what about bad attention? Is there a such thing as bad attention? Yes and no, right? So it's with bad attention, you just got to remember that no matter how bad the attention is, people are going to forget. That's why you have guys like Trump, P.T. Barnum, Houdini, all these guys who is just about grabbing attention. They don't care what that attention is. They'll just grab the attention, and that attention will cause them to win in the long run because they know people are going to forget. It's natural. People just forget. This is why there's that saying of, in the end, people remember how you made them feel. Or in the end, people forget what you say, but they remember how you made them feel. And it's really true. People forget what you say, but they'll always remember how you made them feel. So no matter how bad the attention is at first, let's say, oh, persons are a scam artist, sued by the FTC, all this sort of stuff. No matter how bad it is at first, it's not as bad as you think. Because a little bit down the line, people will forget. All they're going to remember at that point is they're just going to remember what you're doing from that point on. The Wolf of Wall Street, perfect example, right? So, people would probably forget if he didn't actually brand himself as the Wolf of Wall Street, but he doesn't really care. But in the past, he like scammed people and everything. Now the dude's selling all these online programs, doing a lot of speeches and all that sort of stuff. People just forgot. They don't really care because it's like, here's his past. And then here's his future. Here's what he's doing in the future. People will forget. No matter what, people will forget. So don't really pay attention to all that bad publicity, the bad attention you get. At that time, it will feel bad. It will suck. You're getting all this bad attention. So-and-so's a scam artist. So-and-so, whatever. So-and-so screwed all these people. At the time, at least if you have a little heart, it's going to feel bad for you. If you're a sociopath, you won't care. You'll just be like, so what? Yeah, right. But you got to think along the lines of people are just going to forget. And depending on how big it is, the bigger it is, the longer it's going to take people to forget. And the less you do, the longer it's going to take people to forget. So let's say something happens, right? You get sued by the FTC or whatever, right? You get sued by the FTC. Then all of a sudden you're just done. You're just like, oh, dang it, I got sued. Oh, it sucks. Or you're into it. Oh, man, it sucks, right? You no longer put out any content, nothing. That's all people are going to remember about you. On the other hand, if you get sued and then all of a sudden you put out more and you're continuing the story, then all people are going to remember is what you continued. Frank Kern is a perfect example. He was sued by the FTC years ago, and then like now, people don't even probably know that he was sued by the FTC unless he actually mentions it. And so he knew that people are going to forget, and then he just kept creating stuff that people are going to remember. So that's how you have to think in terms of bad attention in general. I can't stress this enough. Study copywriting. If you know how to capture people's attention, keep attention, and convert the attention, all that essentially comes down to copywriting. All three of those comes down to copywriting. You have to study that. That's how you're going to generate a lot of sales. Study copywriting. Read books on it. Go to YouTube or whatever. Even then, With YouTube, what you want to do is you want to start a swipe file, right? This is what all copywriters call swipe file. Think about, what do you click on? What do you pay attention to? Copy and paste that into a swipe file. So when you're sitting there going through articles in your Feedly account, right? You're going through articles and bam, you click on an article, you read the headline, you're like, huh. You click on it, you want to write that headline down because it feels good enough to get you to click, and it's probably just good enough to get other people to click. And so you want to create this swipe file. You go through the headlines in terms of blog posts, go on YouTube, look at the YouTube thumbnails that people are using. Which one actually grabs your attention? Why do you think it grabs your attention? Is it the colors? Is it the fact that you see all the other videos next to it, and this is the one that's in black and white, whereas all the other ones are in color? So think in terms of, how do other things grab your attention, and start to duplicate that. So go to YouTube, look at all the headlines, and that's what you want to do. That's how you got to do it in terms of starting out as a copywriter. You're looking to see what other people are doing that's working, and then you're kind of modeling that. Then you'll learn all the other tactics and techniques. What you're trying to do ultimately is you're trying to develop your own style for grabbing attention. So there is a perfect example, actually. Obama and Trump, both of them grab attention, but they both grab attention in very different ways. Obama had this smooth, slick style of talking when he was actually debating and everything, and he grabbed people's attention because it was very smooth, and his comebacks were just on point and everything. So he had this smooth wisdom style of talking. Trump, he has the more brash, direct style of talking, like, hey, there's all these other politicians, I'm not one of them. Remember, the reason why he had everybody's attention is because he wasn't normal. All the politicians were the same. Literally, every person he ran against, they all had the same personality. The only exception was probably Bernie Sanders and Hillary. I mean, she just had the reputation, but her personality was the same as all the other politicians. It was a lot stronger, but still it was the same. Bernie Sanders had the crazy Bernie. That's what Trump branded him as. But Trump had everybody's attention because he wasn't like everybody else. Everybody else using this political speak and all sort of stuff, all the language that everybody knew. They would watch a politician and think, this dude's just a fake. Like, everything he says, I don't believe. Then you watch Trump and you're like, what the hell? And naturally, you paid attention to him, right? So he was a master at this. I don't know if he did it on purpose or not. I'm sure he did do it on purpose. But you got to think, the reason why people paid attention to him is just because he was not normal. His style versus Barack Obama, same thing. Barack Obama was considered the change candidate. That's what they call him, by the way. Trump was a change candidate. Barack Obama was a change candidate. They're all the change candidates, right? And so Obama had the smooth wisdom. Trump was the brash, direct style. And they all had they all had their own style. Are you a storyteller, energetic? What's your style? And then you want to just keep doing that, keep refining your style. Now, all you got to do is just practice. You practice, and then tomorrow we're going to talk about how do you keep the attention, and then the next day how to convert the attention. But in order to grab people's attention, grabbing attention is the easiest thing to do. All you do to grab someone's attention is what they don't expect. That's all you have to do to grab attention. Keeping the attention is a whole new ball game. If you master the ability to capture, keep, and convert attention, you will generate more revenue without doing anything. Like, literally, you can do the same stuff you're doing now. You'll just be better at it. Like, when I was talking with people in terms of cold emailing, right? People would cold email and they said, it doesn't work. I said, no, you're not doing it right. You don't know how to grab attention, keep the attention, and convert the attention. You grab the attention with the right headline or the right subject line, and then you grab their attention in terms of, or you keep the attention in terms of what you're actually writing, and then you convert the attention in terms of your website, and then that converts and all that sort of stuff, right? But the only reason things don't work is because you don't know how to grab, keep, and convert the attention. Master these three things, and you will generate more sales. All right, cool. So we are good to go for today. Let's see if there were any questions. But tomorrow we're going to talk about how do you keep the attention. And then Friday we're going to talk about how do you actually convert the attention. You have to truly master the ability to do this. Whether it's a podcast, a video, a speech, even just a simple thumbnail, creating a thumbnail for your videos, headlines, all of it matters. Everything you do. When you're trying to sell an online program, The only thing you have to truly master is grabbing, keeping, and converting attention. If you can do those things, you'll be able to sell more online programs. You grab attention with the opt-in page, you keep the attention with the content, you convert the attention with the sales page, right? All of it comes down to grab, keep, and convert. Let's see. All right. Always good stuff. Copywriting is a way of life for some. Yep. Like Eric Thomas. I don't even know Eric Thomas's background. Maybe he did something bad and now he made up for it. But yeah, that's a perfect example. People forget, nobody remembers, nobody knows, and all that sort of stuff. All right. So let's see. Marion said, awesome content. Cool. Are you using OBS for these episodes? No, I'm using Ecamm. 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 I tried OBS, but there was like a lag time with the video, and it was stupid, right? It was horrible. Ecamm, the layout, I can't show you the layout because even when I show you the screen, it doesn't show you the layout. But the layout is a million times easier and everything. It's way easier than OBS, and it's only like $20 or no, only like $40 or something. All right, cool. So I guess we are good to go in terms of grabbing attention. Once again, guys, remember, you have to master the ability to grab attention. This is just not in presenting on a video or in a podcast. You grab people's attention in everything you do. You grab people's attention with the clothes you wear. You grab people's attention with everything. When you're sending out cold emails, you're grabbing their attention with the headline. You're grabbing their attention, or you're grabbing and keeping the attention with what you write. When you're pitching people on the phone, you grab their attention with the first words out of your freaking mouth. You keep their attention with how you say it, the tone of your voice. All of that grabs and keeps people's attention. And so you have to master this if you want to get really good at just building anything. All right, so we are good to go for today. So I will see you guys tomorrow, 9 a.m. Pacific time. Tomorrow we're going to talk about how do you keep that attention so you can eventually convert the attention and make money. All right, I'll talk to you guys tomorrow, 9 a.m. Pacific time. Thanks, everybody, for showing up. Take care, everybody.